Right.
I was abducted by aliens,
Oh.
and it's a horrifying tale. But wait till the end to hear that story.
Hello, I am Oren,
I'm Cary Thomas Cody.
and we are the Skull
Skull
Crawlers.
Crawlers.
There you go. And we ask you to suspend disbelief, the show where we invite you to open your mind and expand your horizons as we discuss the paranormal, taboo, and otherwise mysterious occurrences in our universe. In tonight's episode, we're going to talk a bit about alien abductions.
Oh yeah, brother.
And with us tonight is our alien guest, Alan the alien.
Wow, great name.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna rip the mask off because I'm dying. It's actually just me, guys.
Oh, whoa.
It was Cary the entire time.
Surprise. Yes.
Who would have thought? I thought, because the voice was really similar, but I thought it was like a vocoder kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the same voice thing that they use in Scream.
Yes.
So yeah, this is the mask we used in our short film. They Came from Mars, and it's a pretty neat little rubber mask. It was super cheap, $20 on Amazon. In the right lighting, it works.
Yeah, it really looks convincing when it's dark out.
You know, when it's dark out and you can't see
any of the
anything. Yes. So we're back. It's
Yes,
been a while.
we're back
It has
from
been a
a bit of
freaking
a
while.
Not intended
It's been
hiatus.
like a month now, probably.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, guys. So welcome back. I'm glad we're back.
Yeah. Back doing this. Back podcasting, casting.
Yes. So what have we been up to since we've been gone, Orange Dog?
Well, we took a little vacation, us and a couple of friends and our significant others, and we went to Florida to Universal Studios
Yes.
to check out.
You got out just in time.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
We went to Halloween Horror Nights,
Yeah.
which is the spookiest, happiest place on earth, I think. It seriously is the best.
Yeah,
it was
really awesome.
the best time ever. We did get rained out on our Halloween Horror Nights night, which was a bummer.
Yeah.
So we only got to go to like 5 or 6 of the haunted houses instead of like the 11
I
or
don't think it
12.
was that much.
I think we at least went to 5. I think we
Yeah,
went to
maybe
6.
5,
I think we
yeah.
went to 5.
Yeah.
But man, it was still such a blast.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you have always wanted to go, please,
And now's the
please
time
go.
to go this
Yeah.
year, because this year was a lot of fun. The houses were cool this year.
Yeah. And what was your favorite haunted house this year?
Just theming wise, like aesthetically, I really like the Bugs one because it's all like retro 50s sci-fi, giant creepy bugs.
That sounds so cool.
It was
was.
really cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so
There wasn't many scares in it, but it just looked cool.
why I didn't like that one. I don't know. I expected it to be a little bit different when our friend was talking about it, talking
Yeah.
it up. He's like, "It was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Super cheesy, super campy. The line was short." I'm like,
So
"Heck yeah,
cool.
that sounds dope." And so I don't know. I expected like some bug animatronics. It was nothing like that. It was more like
There was
like
a
little
bit, but
rubber
not a whole
rubber
lot.
bugs like hanging from the the
There
ceiling.
there were
But what it
slugs that spit on you,
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yes, but what it was mostly was a bunch of guys in hazmat suits with masks on that had what's the phobia?
Oh, with like
Oh,
the holes.
The holes,
Tryptophobia.
tryptophobia.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
And I'm
There
not
was
down
one
with
bug.
that. And I was
There
like,
one bug coming out of the corner.
I do remember that. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
tight. So it was a fun one. It was just a surprise because I did not expect that, and it was so gross. Seeing these guys with a bunch of holes in the
Yeah.
side of their face is like, "Ugh."
I'll tell you what I didn't expect is the weekend theme one being actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was my favorite haunt
Yeah.
at the thing. And I'm not a big, I don't really listen to The Weeknd very much. I
Yeah,
know
I
his
don't
hits, and they're good. But apparently, his haunted house this year was themed on, was it just a music video or a handful of
His
music video?
A handful, yeah.
So apparently he tricked the world and made them think that he was going through this like major plastic surgery over the course of like months or something like that.
That's perfect, because I've been seeing pictures of him lately, and I'm like, I thought he got terrible plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Because there's like pictures of him like bandaged up and bloody, and he
Yeah.
has a weird big chin.
Right.
Yeah. So he's going for that Squidward face. You know what I'm talking about? The handsome man face.
SpongeBob.
Yeah,
dude.
And so the haunted house is basically just like him going through that transformation, and it's so spooky. But it was like tripped out versions of his songs in each room.
They'd be like slowed down and creepy. Versions of his songs.
And his music videos are horror adjacent. There are a lot of spooky things in his music videos. Okay, so we just got out of the Weekend house. Oh my gosh, that was legit. That was legit. So freaking rad.
Like, I wouldn't take your phone and just throw it.
She guaranteed she did not want to be there, so
Yeah.
that's why she's on her phone. She's like, I don't want to.
I'm scared. You held up the line, bitch.
Oh,
That was so scary.
oh my
That
god, that went ham. Weekend haunted house. I honestly thought it'd be overhyped, but no, that was so rad.
Drove like perfectly.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Too much, but
No idea.
Yup. And honestly, made me a fan. I was like, this is my dream to be big enough as the Skull Crawlers to
Be
eventually
invited to do your own.
have our own haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights. So, you know,
I
someday, who
mean, I
knows?
don't see why next year we couldn't have a haunted house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be down.
I mean,
At
it
least
wouldn't
do like
be
something for like
universal,
one,
but I mean,
one night.
yeah, you could do
know?
it. You could do it in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
There's no way that we couldn't find a space to
Yeah.
do something
Yeah.
We
like
just
that.
do like a writer's room version of a haunted house with all our shorts.
That would
Yeah,
be
all the
great.
monsters.
We've already got the alien mask.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh, dude!
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That would be a ton of fun
I
because we
could-
still
I
have all the
could
costumes
almost-
for that.
I could almost stab Skylar.
Yeah, we'll give
dude.
you a plastic whatever side this time.
No, we're not doing that. What are you talking about? No.
Yeah, so the Weekend was rad.
Yeah.
What was the another haunted?
The Halloween one was cool.
Oh yeah, the Halloween Michael Myers one. That was sick. It was very spooky, very fun.
Yeah, there's a bit at the end where you go through a mirror maze, and then at the end, right before you leave, there's like you're surrounded by like a lot of like people in costume as Michael Myers.
Oh yeah, that was rad.
And they like pop out at random times, like stab at you.
And there's one that's Austin Powers.
Yes, like way in the back.
Yeah.
But I think since you remember last time we went and they had the Us on a house.
Oh yeah,
And at the end, they had the thing where the guys in jumpsuits
Yeah.
are all surrounding you.
yeah,
I think since that haunted house, they just do that like every year with a different theme.
yeah. They probably did it before that too. Honestly, I
maybe,
don't know,
yeah. But
but
it's
it
a
works.
solid
Yeah,
gimmick.
so it's like some of them are like mannequins
Yeah.
in costume, and there's like one or two like real actors in there that jump out at you.
Mhm.
Which is just it's a very practical effect
Yeah.
that they can do that works every single time.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't know which one's real.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like before you can see it, they're like,
Yeah.
So rad. They also had the Bloomhouse
Yeah, that
house,
was dope.
and so they had Freaky for the first portion, and then they had the Black Phone for the second portion.
Mhm.
And I love
Sick.
both those movies. They're both excellent
I've only seen
films.
Black Phone, but
Wait, did you say you haven't seen it yet?
I've seen Black Phone. I haven't seen Freaky though.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Did
Yeah.
you like it? Because I remember we
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Black Phone like haunted house was dope.
It's so good.
It was so rad. Honestly, it was very spooky. I was very
Yeah.
surprised at how scary it was, to be honest.
Yeah, because they kind of recreate the beats of the movie, but like kind of make it more like slashery. a
That's
bit.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool because, man, that movie just worked.
Yeah. That movie was
Like,
dope. Yeah.
it just works so well.
Mhm. It was a killer film.
Yeah, initially before the haunted house, I was like, how do you do this as a haunted house? Because it's not really. I mean, the movie's like not like creepy, but
Yeah.
it's like a slow burn almost,
Mhm.
like a thriller. Like, how do you do this as a haunted house? But they did it because like they
Right.
just showed, what's his face, the grabber, like on his mask and like
Every version of
yeah,
him.
Yeah,
Dude, that mask is like hands down one of the best masks. Period.
Yeah.
Like, I if it doesn't become like iconic, dude,
Yeah.
it's like
I'm surprised I haven't seen it in any Halloween stores this year.
Yeah, that's true.
That is
Next year it'll
wild.
be everywhere.
Oh,
You know, it's like Squid Game was so popular last year,
Yeah.
but it came out just like,
Just in time for Halloween.
well, just in time for there to not be any costumes in
Oh,
Right.
any of the
yeah.
Halloween stores.
Oh, now
that's
they're
right.
they're go to
Now
Spirit
they're
Halloween. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even Walmart too.
Yeah.
So next year I'm sure there'll be grabber masks everywhere.
Yeah.
But like, imagine like getting a really cool like, you know, like high quality grabber mask where you can like hang it up on the wall and change the mask.
The interchangeable part.
Dude.
Yeah.
That'd be
yeah.
so sick.
That would be yeah.
Yeah, so Black Phone Haunted House, that was awesome. We also did some witchy one. I don't remember. It was
Oh,
like
yeah,
covens
Secrets of
some
the Coven or
Secrets of the
whatever.
Coven. Yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah, it was a neat
Very
idea.
non-memorable
Yeah,
because I
'cause
don't
it was
remember
like-
anything about it.
It was like a 1920s speakeasy, and like
Oh, that's what it was.
You
I
keep
forgot
going
about
through
that.
it, and then like it turns into like you're underground, and there's like a witches and stuff like that, and like
Yeah, that's pretty
ruins
cool.
everywhere or
Yeah.
something like that.
And I really enjoy those ones that just aren't based on movies
Yeah, there's like
because it's just
concepts.
like you just
like
don't know.
themes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unique. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
That's a weird speakeasy to witch thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Whatever. That's fine. I
Yeah.
guess not where I would go with that, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
There is also one we didn't get to see, but I saw it on TikTok, and everybody's raving about it. It was a Dead Man's Pier or whatever.
Yeah,
It was
I wish we
the-
could have done that one.
The fishing village, kind of
Mhm.
like
I wanted to do that one.
Lovecraft kind of inspired one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like it looks like Innsmouth.
Yeah, a little, yeah. Like
Cool.
all the video I've seen of it, like it looks cool.
That's,
That's
so
so
cool.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, heck
Yeah, that was Halloween Horror Nights. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we rented a lake house and we just crashed by the lake for 5 days. Oren was too fancy and he got his own
This
hotel.
fancy guy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we
he's
were gonna
always
make him
fun.
sleep on the couch, and he was like, "I'm just gonna get my own hotel." I'm like,
Yeah,
fair
Just
enough.
like, oh,
And then he got engaged on the trip, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Bro,
Nice.
what?" So he's gonna be a married man.
mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Don't know when, but
he's gonna.
Yeah, but I told nobody. Nobody knew. Like I just did it and shocked everybody.
Yeah, shocked the world. It was a huge upset. I was like, "Holy crap! No way!" But it made the trip so much better just because of that. We had a huge thing to celebrate on top of it being Austin's 30th birthday trip,
Your
my
birthday
birthday
trip,
trip
too, yeah.
as well, and it was just so much fun. Very spooky. We didn't get to go to Cocktails and Screams though, which is
No.
this Halloween themed bar in Orlando. We went to in 2019, and it was pretty cool. And we didn't get to go on any ghost tours either. I would have liked to do that because they have those in Orlando for some reason. Which, who knows?
I mean, there's a ghost
Who knows
tour
if
probably in
they're
every city.
real or honestly there might be.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So-
not to be like morbid or anything, but like Florida is where a lot of old people go to,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
die.
to die,
There's
yeah.
a lot of ghosts there. Florida's a
And
ghost
it's,
factory.
It's their heaven before heaven. so.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, they love how humid it is.
Keeps their skin good. And,
Yeah.
helps with the wrinkles.
Yes. Other than that, we shot a horror short film the other night.
Yes, we did.
It was very last minute. We had sort of planned on doing one, and it was just came down to the week before, and we're like, we don't have anything ready for this really.
Yeah, just no
Just
time.
no time to work with the actors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we went back on a fallback short film idea that we had that could be shot with just one actor playing the main character and then one person playing the creature in a house. And those always work because everybody lives in a house or an apartment or whatever. They live somewhere, so
nice.
it's one of those things that everybody can kind of relate to it, and it's
Yeah.
super spooky.
This is very
I haven't
minimal,
seen-
very like
Yeah.
how we started, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't
Back to
seen any of the
basics.
footage yet. We shot it all in one night, and there's probably not going to be any reshoots. So it's going to be it. Whatever you see is going to be it.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because we just didn't have enough time to film, to put in a lot of work and effort to do like a big grand short film like we
Yeah.
wanted to. So our plan now is to push that one back that we wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and do that one for our 2023 festival short film, and probably film it hopefully in like November
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that, preferably before it gets too cold,
Yeah.
and have plenty of time to edit it, do sound design, reshoots if we need to, and actually put a lot of work into it. Now that my son's getting a little older and a little more independent, I can be away a little bit longer from the house, and yeah, because it's been super hard to shoot anything now that I'm a new dad. He's almost a year old now, so. But it's our first short that we've shot in a year.
Yeah.
I think it was fun brushing the cobwebs off, and Oren got to be our main character, which is fun. I think my favorite thing in the world is me directing and you acting, because we just have a good time.
I'll do anything you say.
Exactly, exactly, and like we're on the same page all the time. Yeah. And so, like, anything I say, Oren just gets it immediately. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. So, it was a lot of fun.
And I've never, like, really seriously acted. But I like acting. I think it's fun just to goof around. Like,
dude.
Whatever. But
yeah, it is fun, for sure. And we have this really cool effect at the end where we do this big blood splatter. And that one was pretty fun to do. Shout out to our friend Mac, who helped us. He built a contraption and made the blood and stuff like that, and just stayed for like 6 or 7 hours watching until his big moment to shine at the very end. So shout out Mac. I think this one would be cool. We did Mariah. She did our creature effects for the Goatman's Bridge short film that we did. It Mimics. And she just came back and she did it all like within a couple days. She heard me out, my concept, and she's like, I got you. And she showed up, did the makeup, made sure it was good. We added a little bit more here and there, and it was sick. I don't think it's a big secret or anything like that, but I would like to put out a YouTube video on like how we made this one and put a lot of work into that and really talk about how we made this short film, because
just a little bit behind the scenes.
Like, behind the scenes stuff, because we got some footage of kind of how we did some of the things behind the scenes. We got plenty of pictures and videos, so it'd be cool to throw together a video about that. So if you're listening and you've wanted to make horror shorts or anything like that, take what we've learned and do the thing, because it's so much fun.
You'll see how bad we're at it, and then you can do better.
Exactly. That's how we got started, because we're like, man, we can't. We watched something else, we're like, we can do better than that. And we did, and then it went downhill from there.
Yeah, only downhill.
So that was a blast. The creature, and I'll just talk about it because why not? But the creature is this like zombie type creature. She's more of like, I don't know, like I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of like the body snatchers right now, Invasions of the Body Snatchers, the Faculty, some type of like parasite in your mind that is controlling you. That's not you, but it wants to infect everybody. So it's like it thinks it talks, and its main goal is to infect more people. And so that is our creature, and it's like a plant-based kind of parasite. And so our creature has like flowers growing out of her skin. Her skin is super green. It's got like leaves growing out of her and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty dang cool. And she lives in the attic of Warren's house, which is real spooky. So for this short film specifically, I would like to do a little bit of backstory. And I sort of wrote a little bit of how she came in contact with the I guess the parasite, or the whatever it's going to be. We'll see. And I'm going to release that like week by week leading up to our release of the short film, so we can get a little backstory on,
just like expanded lore.
Expand the lore, a little ARG, and just tell a bigger story than what we were able to film. So because, I love when people do that, and so we're working on something cool. So
it was a lot of fun.
New short film.
We
went to Horror Nights, which is a ton of fun. Oren is engaged. So, and then we're back. More episodes of Suspend Disbelief. We have this amazing guest lined up soon, and if you're native, you know who he is.
You'll know. You'll figure it out.
You'll know. Figure it out. And he told me in person, he's like, all my friends say that I've got the scariest stories. And I was like, you gotta have to be on our show. And he's like, I'm down, just let me know when. So we have a huge special guest coming up really soon, and hopefully he can be on before the Halloween season, because
Yeah.
Never hurts to ask sometimes,
Yeah. could be a cool Halloween episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm gonna hit him up in a week or so and be like, "Hey, when can we record that episode?" And it might be one of those things like, "Well, I've got time right now," and I'll be like, "Let's get together, let's do it." I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
Honestly, it might be one of those things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I know. And the part of me like wants to like prepare some stories to tell him.
Yeah.
You know, just in case like he wants to use them for his TV show or anything. Like that. I'm just kidding.
Redact that.
Redact
Edit
that.
out.
Redact that.
Cut that out. Cut it. Cut it. Cut it.
No. I don't know. Like, do we just sit and listen to him talk, or do we like have stuff prepared,
I mean,
and then not have him talk as much? I don't know, honestly.
We'll figure it out. We can talk
Yeah.
about that
I
later.
mean, I would say have stuff prepared,
Have
but
stuff prepared,
but fully
yeah.
prepare for you to not say anything.
That's a
yeah,
good,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, backup plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, or we're gonna keep him talking for like 2-3 hours, and then just
Or just do the
put out different episodes.
Chris Farley thing. The SNL was like,
This is part 2.
Remember when you did that? That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, stay tuned for that because that's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
Other than that, we want to do. We haven't really even talked about this in a couple weeks, but a paranormal investigation of our previous guest,
Mm-hmm.
Cedric's land,
Yeah.
his haunted Indian land, which
Yeah.
would be a lot of fun to get out there and get spooked.
That sounds exciting, but I don't know.
You'll
Yeah.
be there. I don't know.
Yeah, from what it sounds like,
From what it sounds like, you're
I
gonna
don't
get
know
got
that
the
I should
most.
go.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely go. I'll definitely go
Sweet.
so that you guys can like videotape me being
Freaking out.
fucking snatched. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna happen.
Freak
Snatch,
out.
levitate, get thrown around
Mhm.
Tossed around.
like a rag doll.
It's-
That'll be fun. So, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna fit all this in to the month of October,
Yeah.
but that's something we would like to do.
Yeah.
So that would be super rad if we got to do that. And one last thing, actually, 2 more things. We're gonna have another Skullcrawlers drive-in at Elk Valley.
Yep.
And am I allowed to announce the movie yet or no?
No,
Okay,
because
so
this
still
one
in
will
the
be one that
process.
we can actually get the rights to. So we got to figure
So
out.
we can actually promote the crap out of it.
Yeah, so we can figure out how much it is.
So this is gonna be a really cool slasher
It's-
movie. One of the best,
Yeah.
I'd say.
It's the month of October, so
Yeah.
the season dictates, you gotta watch a certain movie.
Redact that. So that's gonna be tight. We don't
Yeah.
have a date for that yet, but hopefully we do as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And we're going to, as long as everything goes to plan, screen our new short film that night before we release it on
Mhm.
YouTube at the end of the month. So,
And also
more of an incentive to come and watch that movie and then our short film and just have a big party.
I know you're gonna announce this either, but Dead Center hit us up. And
Oh yeah.
On October, it's probably out before then.
6th.
October 6th.
Yes.
There we have Dead Center. They're hosting a fundraising event for the next year's festival. Shaun of the Dead Center Drive-In. They're gonna
Yes.
show our short, It Mimics, and they're gonna also show another fellow local filmmaker short, Home Sweet Home, and then they're gonna show Shaun of the Dead.
Sweet.
Out at the drive-in.
Yeah, I think there's also a
And then-
costume contest
Yes,
that night
there's a
as
costume
well.
contest.
That sounds like so much fun. It's like my dream to have, something we've made play
Yeah.
at a drive-in.
Yeah, it's good.
You know,
It'll be dope.
An actual drive-in, not just the Skullcrawlers drive-in.
Not the back of a
Unofficial
brewery.
drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
maybe they got the idea from us. Who knows? But from our shirts and
yeah,
merch,
maybe.
but,
I don't know. But yeah, it'll be sweet.
It'll sweet. If you're gonna go, break out those pocketbooks because it's $100 to get in
100 per car though. Plus
Per car,
comes
yes.
with a free cocktail per person.
per person. So fit
So
like
that's
20
sweet.
people in your car, and
That's hilarious.
And then it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that clown car.
Yeah, you show up with just a tractor trailer.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, school bus. There we go.
also, there's something about giving free drinks to people in cars, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I get it. You're gonna be parked for a really long time, but like, still, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, dude, we have to go to the drive-in again before the drive-in season's over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
Especially in
I didn't get to do as
Winchester,
much
they're
this
doing,
year as I
like,
wanted to.
Theme nights for Halloween and stuff
Yes,
like
dude.
that. Like,
they're
I think,
popping off this year.
Yeah,
There's like
dude.
real cool stuff.
Yeah, I think this week is they're showing Coraline and The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
The
weird
Shining,
combo,
dude.
but just to see that on a drive-in screen would be dope.
Yeah, the last time it showed on a drive-in screen, a tornado swept through the town. Twister, the movie.
Hmm.
You guys?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right over your
that
head.
flew over our
And the
heads.
movie Twister, The Shining, was playing on the drive-in
I
screen.
didn't know that.
So
That's a,
what? Come on.
I wish
Oklahoma
The Shining
movie.
I wish it was a good movie, but
Boo.
this man.
Boo this man.
I'm sorry, it's not good. It's not good. And if you like it, you should read the book, and then you'll
Yeah,
figure
that's
out it's
probably true.
bad.
It's on my list of books to read
Yeah.
for sure. And I have seen The Shining a handful of times. Only one time in my adult life. I remember watching it. This is probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, huh, I forgot. That's the movie, huh?
That's
You know,
it,
not like incredibly impressed, but I did watch it during the daytime, so it wasn't as spooky.
Yeah,
But
like,
it's more
it's-
just like a lot of like shocking images and scenes that are just
Yeah.
like really strange.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of it doesn't hold up with time, but it still is very eerie and very spooky when it matters, which is, you know, when Jack Torrance is chasing his family down with an
yeah,
axe.
yeah. Like to me, it just when like I'll probably watch that movie like once in a couple of years. And like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But like to me, it's just like aesthetically, it just the way it's shot. I'm like, I enjoy this. There's some good shots in here. and
Yeah.
everything. But like, I'm not so. I mean, like you said, read the book. I'll probably appreciate it more if I read the actual source material and that doesn't,
I hate,
diverge that much.
dude. I hate being that guy, and normally I'm not.
Mm.
But when I watched it, I had just finished reading it the week before.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, what is
Everyone loves
this?
this so much. And then I was like, nah.
Yeah.
No way.
Pass.
That's a
like,
bummer, dude.
Yeah, it was funny.
Did you see Doctor Sleep as well?
No, I didn't. I heard
I
that
didn't
was
either.
really bad, but I don't.
I
know.
heard it
but that
was
doesn't matter.
good.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter like what
I
you
heard
hear,
it was
you should watch
good.
it.
Yeah, it's exactly. See for yourself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, I haven't read The Shining the novel or Doctor Strange the book, so I didn't. What did I say?
He's a Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Wait, what is it called? Doctor Sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, different doctor.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't read Doctor Sleep, so that's why I never went and saw it. And it's on my
Yeah.
list of things to do. I like reading the books first and then seeing the movie.
Yeah.
So that's how I like to do Stephen King adaptations, at least.
I saw Doctor Sleep. It's okay, I guess. I don't know. It has the gimmick of the movie is like, oh yeah, we recreated these shots from Kubrick's Shining, and like we went
Right.
back to location, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then they like found a way to meld the original Shining book and the plot from the Kubrick movie or whatever.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure that there's like some total bleed in. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like if you've read anything that Stephen King's
Yeah.
done, there's no way that there's not like The Shining in Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard. It was Mike Flanagan, right? who did
Yeah,
that one?
yeah. That's
I
why
heard that
watched
he
it.
did a
Yeah.
combination of
the book and
the book
yeah.
and the movie,
Mhm.
because they're fans of both, you know, and you kind of want to meet in the middle a little bit there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, we're back,
We're back.
and we are going to talk about alien abductions in this episode. So here we are, 30 minutes later.
30 minutes later in the podcast.
A little clickbait here. I do have a personal story of an alien abduction.
I don't know that
may
you can
have
put
been.
clickbait in
Yeah,
the middle
30
of the
minutes into
episode.
the-
Oh yeah, I'll put that in the beginning.
Right.
I was abducted by aliens,
Oh.
and it's a horrifying tale. But wait till the end to hear that story.
Till the end. You gotta wait.
It's very weird and very spooky, but I'll tell you all about it. So hang tight, and I'll tell you. But first, we're going to talk about the disappearance, or the abduction rather, of Travis Walton. This may be the most famous case of alien abductions from 1975.
The story rules.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. And the reason why it's probably the most famous is because there were actual witnesses that saw it happen.
Yeah.
It's very, very good story. Very strange.
Also, you'll probably touch on it when you read.
Sure.
But
Maybe not. I don't know.
there is like some evidence, like tangential to the occurrence, that like it's like, yeah, this is kind of like legit. Like this is like legit evidence.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you'll have to kind of chime in whenever
sure.
you get there.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I read other things that I'm like, okay, so this is probably why he went into this mental state and imagined this. But we'll get to it.
Yeah.
All right, so Travis Walton incident is one of the most famous cases in ufology. The incident, Wednesday, November 5th, 1975, was said to be just another regular workday for 22-year-old Travis Walton. Little did he know that he would have the experience of a lifetime that evening. After a long day of work in the Apache Sitgreaves National Park, Travis and his logging crew of 6 were riding home when they suddenly noticed a brilliant glow peeking through the trees. And some of them thought, like, is that the moon? Somebody's like, no, that must be a forest fire. And somebody's like, there's no way. We have to go and look at it. And Travis, he was more of the daredevil out of the group, young go-getter.
Yeah.
I heard a story on Mr. Ballin's episode on this, but apparently when he was a teenager, he was driving at night with some friends, and there was like a bear in the middle of the road.
And he just got out and fought the bear.
Yeah, he literally got out and chased the bear into the woods.
Wait, really?
He did. He got out and chased the bear into the woods, and then kept chasing it off the road. So he was that type of person. So naturally, you see this.
That white person energy.
Man, I was gonna say it. You know what I mean? I was like,
Well, I'm definitely half white because I've been doing the same thing. So naturally, you see that glow behind the trees, and you're like, I have to go check that out. Like we have to go see what that is. As they continued riding down the dirt road, they eventually got close enough to realize the light was emanating from a structured craft. Before the truck came to a complete stop, and mesmerized by what he saw, Travis leaped out to approach the unidentified object as it hovered silently in the clearing. Within moments of approach, Walton was struck by a vibrant, bluish-green beam of light that seemingly came from the bottom of the craft and sent him flying backward several feet. One of the witnesses, one of his people in his logging crew, said it looked like lightning struck him and blew him back like 20 feet.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. The immense beam lit up the entire forest brighter than daylight. The witnesses have compared the beam to a bolt of lightning and a long blue flame. Travis never saw the beam. In a panic, the crew boss and the driver of the truck, Mike Rogers, fled the scene as quickly as possible. The crew was utterly baffled as what they had witnessed had no earthly explanation. Minutes later, the crew decided to return to the site to help Travis if they could. Much to everyone's surprise, Travis was gone. The crew looked for several minutes and could not find him anywhere. They're screaming his name. They're looking all over for any signs of Mike. Not Mike, Travis. Mike's one of the guys. So they're screaming his name and no signs. Very strange.
I like how they immediately just bolted. Like, they didn't even try to help.
Yeah.
They saw him get, like, knocked back and, like, peace.
Yeah.
That's also white people energy.
Yeah.
We're just like, nah. Aliens?
Yeah.
Nah, you're
You're on
good.
your own.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Peace out, Travis. We have enough Travises. It's okay.
With seemingly no other hope, the crew drove into town and contacted the local sheriff. They explained what they had witnessed as the best they could and told authorities that a flying saucer had taken their friend, Travis Walton. In an effort to prove them wrong, the sheriff conducted a thorough search of the area along with Mike Rogers. They could not find him. Sheriff also searched his truck to see if there were any substances that they could find, anything that could alter their minds to make them think that they saw something.
Yeah.
And of course, they found nothing.
Yeah.
In the days Walton went missing, all 6 of his coworkers were accused of murder. With no other explanation, Mike Rogers and the rest of the crew stuck to their story. As far as they were concerned, they witnessed a UFO shoot a beam at Travis and knock him to the ground before he suddenly vanished just minutes later. Very little is known as to what happened after Travis was struck. This portion of the story relies only on Travis's memory. The rest of the incredible experience was revealed as a result of regression hypnosis conducted by Dr. James A. Harder in the 1970s. A hypnosis room with Harder and Walton were 3 physicians and a psychiatrist. When discussing the case, Harder said, "Beyond any reasonable doubt, the evidence is as valid as any that would be accepted in an American criminal court."
The interesting thing about... I was researching a bit about this subject, alien abductions. There was Betty and Barney
Hill.
Yes. They were like the first widely publicized alien abduction story, and I think it was Betty Hill. The way they got the details about how they were abducted and what she witnessed and all that, is through hypnosis as well. And like apparently, like back in the 70s, like that was like a practice that was most commonly used. Like
They did it with both. They did it with both
of them?
Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his stuff is wild.
Yeah.
Because he had like scarring, and he had like just like there was stuff on his genitalia, and like when he went into hypnotic regression, like he was talking about what was happening, like, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And he had those scars for a really long time. It was like this wicked rash and like something else. I think there was like a ring or like bumps and stuff. And eventually it went away. But yeah, it was like
We've all had those bumps.
different bumps. Yeah.
Okay.
They were in like different places, I guess. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
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 Mine's usually in just one place.
Yeah, 'cause I remember reading about that incident, and like apparently the aliens conducted a pregnancy test on Betty where they had like a long needle and like inserted it like through her navel.
What?
Yeah,
That's literally my nightmare.
Yeah,
That's that scene from The Matrix where he like drops a little freaking creepy crawly into his
Gets
belly
sucked
button.
out.
Yes,
Dude, I can't deal with belly button stuff.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, dude, I'm not into belly button play. So
But yeah, it's just weird that like this time, like 70s, 60s, 70s, hypnosis was just a thing that was used to try and like
bring it back, bring it back. Because without any of a doubt, this guy says it would hold up in American court. It's like, all right, man, sure. All right. Travis says he blacked out the moment the beam hit him. He says he felt a numbing shock and then blacked out. The next thing he could remember is waking up while laying flat in an oddly shaped room. Travis says, as he opened his eyes, he suddenly noticed 3 humanoid creatures standing over him. Walton recalls a strange device placed over his chest, holding him down on the table. Startled by this, Travis got up and grabbed an object to defend himself from the odd creatures. He waved it around in an attempt to threaten them. Travis describes the creatures as being between 4 to 5 feet tall, with pale skin and enlarged heads. They had large brown eyes and were wearing orange jumpsuits. Travis' description of the beings is similar to that of others.
I don't know about you. There's like 4 or 5 foot people like giving me down. I'd get out of there, bust out of there.
Are you saying that you have a phobia of little people?
I don't have a phobia of little people. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm scared. I'm saying I could take them. They're 4 or 5 feet tall.
You're saying that you could take a bunch of 4th graders, is what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hold on. I'm 5'5", guys. I'm not in 4th grade.
4 to 5 foot.
4 to 5 foot.
We'll say under 5 foot.
Under 5 foot. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure you could take me.
Once the 3 creatures left the room, Travis curiously walked around the craft. He soon found himself in a room that resembled a planetarium. Then, 2 more human-looking beings in jumpsuits approached Travis and transported him elsewhere. Travis believes he was transported out of the scout ship he was in and taken to another craft. He remembers these beings putting a mask-like device over his face that caused him to black out. But beyond that, he remembers very little. The return. Travis Walton's disappearance had initially been treated as a missing persons case. Arizona sheriffs searched for Travis with scents of dogs and helicopters throughout the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest for 5 days. The most extensive search in Arizona history came to an end when Travis Walton was returned just miles away from where he had been taken. Just after midnight on Monday, November 1975, Travis was left lying face down by the side of the road. He says he awoke to see a metallic, mirror-like craft departing over him. Travis got to his feet and ran as quickly as he could to find help. Eventually, he found a phone booth at a local gas station in Heber, Arizona. by which he contacted his family. Met with shock and disbelief, Travis was notified that he had been missing for 5 days.
That's nuts.
Travis was immediately taken to a hospital that found him dehydrated and noticed a puncture wound on his right arm. He had also lost 12 pounds and grown 5 days' worth of facial hair. 5 of the 6 witnesses passed polygraph tests in the days Travis was gone. One of them, Alan Dallas, walked out of the room before his test was completed. So his test was considered inconclusive. Not that he failed, but it was inconclusive.
Yeah.
He and Travis had gotten into a fight the morning of the accident, and he felt overly agitated that the police were trying to pin a crime on him. So the police seriously were trying to find evidence that they had just murdered him and lied about him being abducted.
I mean, you got to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're the cops.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most logical. Like, a guy's missing. He was here 1 minute, he's gone.
Yeah.
You just trace back, like, oh, this dude had a fight with him. This guy must have done it then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either that or it's aliens.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah.
like, ooh, probably not, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, like, these 6 guys had the same story. You think one of them would crack unless it's, like, super legit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're all like lumberjacks,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
I
blue
mean,
collar men.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just hacking down trees. Like, they've never lied.
Yeah.
They just,
yeah. I mean,
honest
what?
work.
Yeah, exactly. They're just trying to,
Yeah.
feed their family.
They're just
Yeah.
trying to buy, buy some flannels.
Exactly.
That's all they're
Some
out
cool
here doing.
beanies, you
Yeah.
know, some beard oil.
I wonder when people started using beard oil. That's a different
Probably like
podcast.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
When I got it, and everybody else started using it after
Oh,
that.
It's
yeah,
probably been
that's
a thing
totally what it
around
is, yeah.
Forever, but it's been popularized in the last 5 years.
It's true. I don't know. I have no
when
idea.
Cary bought it.
Yeah,
for the
when
first
Cary
time.
bought it.
Right.
And then everyone's like, man, we got to get on that. Look how shiny it is. Travis also passed a polygraph test, and medical records indicated no drugs were in his system. Travis returned with faint memories of being examined by alien creatures and accidentally viewing a star system from a craft's cockpit. He believes the beam, which struck him in the head and chest, killed him upon impact. Walton also believes he was taken on board the craft to be revived.
Because they were like, oops.
That's right.
Ooh, guys, we killed this one. We gotta.
So, yeah,
Oh, we
crap.
said it to kill, not stun.
Nice Star Trek reference, dude.
Oh, that's
So
good.
clean.
Yeah. It is important to note that if Travis had been hiding or lost wandering in the forest as initially suspected, he would have likely frozen to death at night with temperatures reaching a blistering 8 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 13.3 degrees Celsius.
What do you, for whatever reason, have like in the back of your mind how cold it was when the coolest dressing kid alive went missing?
Yeah,
like the exact
I was like, it was like 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like right around below freezing.
Okay.
It was like survivable, but
Yeah.
Right, but he was too.
But
he
it
was
was-
so cold already.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yo,
That's right.
His drip.
right. He was ice cold drip. Travis, not so much. Okay.
Related phenomena. Researchers suggest that sheriffs were investigating cattle mutilations in the area just before Travis's abduction. Analysis of the trees directly surrounding the area Travis was struck has shown that they have seen accelerated growth due to radiation exposure, potentially from the UFO. By looking at the tree rings in the area and compared them to others nearby, a clear indication was made that the affected trees underwent a significant change.
That's what I was going to bring up. The evidence shows like the area where he supposedly got beamed up, it hit the trees apparently, and like on certain sides of the trees there's like accelerated growth, like 36 times the normal amount.
Dang.
And yeah, so there's evidence like there's like some radiation in that area.
Dang.
Yeah.
When discussing his 2014 investigation of the site, Ben Hansen said, not only was there an extreme growth rate to some of these trees around the clearing, but it seems that there was a directionality to them. Hansen noted that the growth appeared to be focused in a particular region within the clearing. The press in November of 1975 Several media outlets reported on Travis's encounter and, more often than not, with inaccurate or incomplete information. Several local newspapers and media outlets covered Travis's story, including Arizona's very own White Mountain Independent. The paper covered Walton's case on November 14th, 1975, with a front page headline which reads, "Kidnapped into a spacecraft?" As a result, the story quickly gained buzz in Walton's town. Some believed his claims, many did not, understandably distraught and perhaps still in shock. Travis initially avoided all media. This did not stop the story from getting out, however. His initial reluctance to meet with the media only fueled skeptics and encouraged rumors. Soon, media outlets from all over the world flooded into Travis's humble town of Snowflake, Arizona. In an effort to minimize his interaction with the press, Travis agreed to an exclusive feature with the National Enquirer. The Enquirer funded efforts to either prove or disprove Travis's claims. According to the original article, Travis underwent a polygraph examination. The Enquirer printed the headline, "Arizona Man Taken by a Flying Saucer," in bold type in a December 1975 issue. At the same time, the National Enquirer considered itself to be the largest circulation of any paper in America. The case was also covered in the case was also discovered in MUFON's now defunct Skylook publication.
MUFON.
MUFON. Sure.
That is a real thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually, it still exists, and you can be a MUFON investigator
Get
right
out.
now. You can sign up for it.
Okay. Right on. Now defunct Skylook publication in April of 1976 in a monthly journal, Walton had the chance to explain his side of the story. Perhaps for the first time, Walton said, "When I returned on November 10th, I was in a serious emotional state. At that time, and for weeks afterwards, I didn't tell anyone about my experience except for those close to me. I avoided the public and media for several days. During my silence, a lot of misinformation was printed." Just a couple of months before the incident, January 1976, Travis Walton was flown into Los Angeles, California to be interviewed by Star Trek's Leonard Nimoy for a pilot TV show. Sorry, just a few months after the incident. I said that backwards. Travis was accompanied by researchers Jim and Coral Lorenzen on the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization. The episode with Travis never aired on television. The APRO Bulletin reported that the show was titled The Unexplained, while the others say it was titled In Search Of. Nimoy even discussed his belief of UFOs and Travis Walton's story with the National Enquirer. When asked about his belief in UFOs, Leonard Nimoy said, "I believe in UFOs because so many qualified observers and solid people have reported sightings that just cannot be dismissed. I've talked with Travis Walton, a young Arizona man who claimed he was actually taken aboard a UFO. It is a bizarre story, but I felt like he was being truthful."
I mean, he's got to believe he's Spock. Like,
Yeah. I mean, come
anybody
on.
knows it's Spock.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. He'd never lie.
And this happened in the 70s.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, so it's such a cool time for that to happen because, one, the story is incredible.
Mm.
Two, you guys know about J. Allen Hynek, right?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, J. Allen Hynek, he is a renowned astronomer. He's a professor and a ufologist.
Mm-hmm.
And so he used to work for the Air Force, and he worked on Project Sign from 1947 to 1949, Project Grudge from 49 to 51, but then he worked on Project Blue Book in 1952 to 1969. So what Project Blue Book was essentially is they were in charge of making sure that when there were calls about UFO stuff, that they were the first ones there so that they could essentially debunk all of these things. And the ones that they could debunk, which was most of them, they could all debunk. Those were the ones that Project Blue Book were like, all right, this is what we can publish, this is what's up, And J. Allen Hynek was like their number one dude to be able to go out and be like, this is swamp gas, this is this is that, blah blah blah. But then after he left, he was like, hey guys, guess what? Project Blue Book has been telling you the truth, but not all of it.
Yep.
I have all of this information. Like, I believe that this stuff like is legit. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of information that people think is aliens, but it's not. But like, there's a lot of. And so when you think of, like, when you hear of, close encounters of the third kind, fourth kind, that is actually the Heinek Scale. Like, he came up with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he is huge. Like, he's all over ufology. Like, throughout, he died in 86 at 75. So like, and he was born in 1910. So he was like the heavy hitter of like ufology.
Yeah.
Like, he was there like from the jump, essentially, since like Roswell happened, I think, in the 40s.
47.
Yeah. So I mean, like, at the time he was 37 years old. Like, he was doing his thing, or 27 years old. Like, he was, I mean, he was working for the Air Force, I think, at the time. So I mean, he was in Project Sign in 47. So yeah, but that's very interesting.
Definitely.
Especially, I don't know, I when I found out that he was the one who came up with the Close Encounter stuff, it kind of blew my mind. It's very cool.
Just bonkers.
It's just I don't know, that time period, just the 70s, just a weird conflux of weird stuff happening. Like, you get like UFOs, a lot of serial killers and stuff like that, and like, just, that was a weird, strange time.
Yeah, the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the serial killers and stuff, it was crazy because it was essentially coming out of, like, the 60s, the whole like hippie era.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, like, the whole reason why a lot of like cults and stuff came about in the 70s was a lot of people that felt like disenfranchised.
Yeah.
A lot of people like coming out of the 60s that were like, hooked on a lot of drugs and like, there was like free love and everything, and like, that's all well and good, but not everyone can be in that kind of relationship. Like, you can say you can be, but you're not. And then you go into the 70s and people are looking for, a way out of that sort of lifestyle. And that's how a lot of like cults happened, with just like religious cults and stuff. Like, hey, you're like a drug addict, do you want to like come hang out with us? Yeah, exactly. We can talk to you about God and Jesus and stuff, and it'll be cool. But in reality, their God and Jesus is this guy who is like, oh yeah, I like, God speaks through me. It's like, nah, no, you're gonna make us all kill ourselves.
Beach Boys want to take my song.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's rough, man. The 70s were crazy.
Yeah.
and at the time also, police didn't talk to each other like they do now. Like, if you committed a crime in Oklahoma, like if you murdered somebody in Oklahoma and went to Kansas, like, okay, it's true. Like you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But now the way that information travels, and the fact that like the huge database that is like like nationwide through, I believe the FBI came up with it, which that's also where serial killer got coined, also was from the FBI. So
Mindhunter and all that. That's where the whole profiling came from. It's like FBI started all that.
Yeah. And that's essentially why the police had to start talking to one another, because it's just like, hey, we've got these 4 murders here, and
they link up with these 4 murders in your town,
right? And
that's
like,
all the Zodiac stuff, because like there's like murders in like Vallejo and San Francisco and whatever, and like they're like, they match, but they didn't know at the time that was happening in San Francisco. Yeah. So,
dude, it's bananas. Yeah. I mean, the serial killer that was in California, I can't remember what the name of it was. That
Golden State.
Yeah. That, I mean, it was like 70 years went by and we didn't know who it was until
until somebody wrote a book about him, and
I think he got. I think 23andMe got him. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, dude.
Like, who would have thought?
Dude, almost made it. 80 years old or whatever, and he's 90 years old. And he's like, crap. Just wanted to see who my ancestors were.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like his son, and like his
Oh,
son
you're
was
kidding me.
No, it was like his
Wow.
son that did it, and they were
Yeah.
like, sir, your saliva popped up on these like 45 murders,
Yeah.
but you would not be born yet. Oh, I guess it was your papa, and then they arrested
That is
him.
crazy. I didn't know that part.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the 70s were bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, good music though, right?
yeah, pretty good, pretty sweet tunes.
Yeah.
It's almost made it all worth it.
yeah.
You heard Stairway though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
right.
pretty
Like,
sick, pretty
yeah.
sick.
Come on, Skinner.
Yeah,
Come
just-
on.
That's how we got Star Wars. Yeah, I mean,
I
it
like
was worth it.
Skinner getting brought up. It's just like, yeah, awesome 70s music. Leonard Skinner
All right. In 1976, Travis and his crew
bringing it back.
were awarded $5,000 by the National Enquirer. Despite skeptics claiming that the whole case was hoaxed as a money scheme, there has been no clear evidence to suggest that it was a hoax. On the opening day of Fire in the Sky, March 12, 1993, Travis Walton and Mike Rogers appeared on Larry King Live. This was Travis and Mike's first major interview. The segment featured ufology's biggest skeptic, Philip Glass. So, Fire in the Sky, which is a very famous horror movie, was based upon a novel of Travis Walton's experience with his abduction. I don't remember the name of the novel. It's not written down in here.
It's
But-
not of the same name.
I don't think so. It might be. But that came out, I think his novel came out in the 80s, and the movie was made in 1993.
I've never seen the movie. I've only seen like
Everybody talks about it.
yeah.
And they're like, you
I've
gotta
seen
watch
like
it.
pictures of it and like it looks pretty dope. Like it's just like
We'll have to watch it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same name.
Okay,
It's the same.
Fire in the Sky, the novel, and then the movie.
You can buy it on Amazon right now for $79.99.
The book?
Yeah.
That's an
Pretty
expensive. Yeah. Well, that's because UFOs are so popular right now. They're like, hike it up.
Yeah. After this podcast, you're gonna need even more.
I think it's actually printed on paper made by the trees that Travis cut down on the night that he was abducted.
Nah.
No.
No.
Oh, I was
Absolutely
gonna
not.
say,
No,
I'd
no,
pay
no.
that.
Wow.
That would be dope. No, yeah. But no, I'm sorry. I lied to you, or I'm sorry that you believe that. It would be cool.
That would be cool.
Approximately 45 years after his incident, Travis Walton appeared on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. In the 2-hour interview, Travis expressed the similarities to the craft he saw as to what was described by Bob Lazar. As mentioned by Travis, Tester's 1994 area S4 UFO model does bear a resemblance to the craft witnessed by himself and the crew. Investigation. The abduction site was initially inadequately investigated by Bill Spaulding of the Ground Saucer Watch. In 1976, Travis expressed that he had never met or spoken with Spaulding, nor had Spaulding spoken with any witnesses. The incident was investigated more seriously by the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization. According to Travis, the APRO carried the real investigation as they conducted several medical, psychiatric, hypnotic, and polygraph examinations. In the summer of 2014, Ben Hansen closely investigated the site again, found signs of significant tree growth in the area, presumably resulting by the UFO's radiation as noted before. The Walton Experience, the book. Within months of the incident, Travis had already begun writing about his experience. A newspaper feature from February 1976 reported that Walton had already started writing about his ordeal, possibly as a way to cope from what had happened to him. The report also notes that he had been working closely with an artist to illustrate the encounter. That unnamed artist was presumably Mike Rogers, who was one of the witnesses driving the truck. In March of 1978, Berkeley Books published Travis's book, fittingly titled The Walton Experience. In his book, he detailed his encounter and gave insight to the experience of being on board a UFO. According to Travis's crew boss, Mike Rogers, the Walton Experience sold 50,000 copies in less than a month. The aftermath. For decades, Travis Walton has been widely regarded as the most famous alien abductee in the world. His case is arguably second to only the startling claims of Betty and Barney Hill, who say they were taken and returned in 1961 by extraterrestrials, beings from the Zeta Reticuli star system. However, Betty and Barney's case has never been backed by several first-hand witnesses, as Travis has had. Perhaps put best by a 1998 MUFON journal, ufologists discuss the most credible abduction cases. 3 stand out: Betty and Barney Hill case, the Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker Pascagoula case, and the Travis Walton case. Skeptics have tried to explain Travis's case away by saying the whole experience was a drug-induced hallucination. However, it is highly unlikely for 7 men to hallucinate the exact same incident. Additionally, medical records show that Travis did not have any drugs in his system. Although the U.S. Air Force Project Blue Book was not in operation at the time of Travis's incident, Dr. J. Allen Heinek said this in 1976.
Oh, what's up?
Well, I think that he underwent, I understand, a Minnesota multiphasic personality inventory and passed it with high colors. It showed that he was not psychotic and did not or was not given to deception. Now, if that is so, I think that's a point in his favor. But what I've always felt about this case, I've divided it into 2 parts. One is the first part involving the 7. They all took lie detector tests and passed them. It fits a pattern. See, if this were the only case on record, then I would have to say, well, I couldn't possibly believe it. But at the Center for UFO Studies, now we have 24 similar abduction cases now currently being studied. Something is going on. It is important to note that Dr. J. Allen Heinek is perhaps best remembered for being the chief investigator and scientific advisor on UFOs at the U.S. Air Force. Heinek is also credited to creating the Close Encounter and Classification System. Nailed it. The next part of this article is about Fire in the Sky, the movie, which I think we can probably skip.
Yeah, touch on that a bit.
Yeah. The impact on Travis. The overall experience has affected Travis in ways that perhaps very few may understand. According to his own website, traviswalton.com, Travis says, "If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't get out of the truck. The notion of whether his experience was exciting or terrifying is a matter of opinion." Travis, however, has often expressed a fearful recollection of the entire experience. Since 1975, Travis Walton's story has not changed. Naturally, his choice of words have differed slightly over the 4 decades he's been sharing the experience. Nonetheless, his story stands the test of time and continues to be compelling even for those who have heard it several times.
What if you said before there's stories of him being like a daredevil, getting out of his car, fighting a bear?
Yeah.
What if this is all just an elaborate ruse to like change his personality so he doesn't do that stuff anymore?
They just like...
Like, we're tired of your crap, Travis. We're gonna make you experience getting abducted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, chill
Dude,
out, man.
Just knock it off.
Is he still alive?
He is still alive. He did
Dude.
Joe Rogan this year. Or
Right.
actually,
This year.
last
Okay.
year, 2021, sorry.
On his deathbed, like, Ashton Kutcher shows up. You got punched. Like, whoa.
He's like, it was all a ruse. Yeah. Pranked.
Man, that's... I didn't know that he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I listened to some of his interview, just bits and pieces, talking mainly just him talking about the event, and all of it apparently has matched up to everything he's always said.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fascinating. And he said he wouldn't relive it if he could. He wouldn't get out of the truck, and he hates even like trying to recollect it because he tries pushing it back in his
deeply traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it changed the course of his life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's just the alien guy.
yeah.
You know?
The witnesses and their testimony. Along with Travis, in the 1965 International crew cab truck was his logging crew. Most of the men he knew. A couple of them he had only known for 2 days. Driving the truck was the crew boss, Mike Rogers. Riding in front and closest to the window was Travis. It was many years ago I got out of the truck in the National Forest and I ran toward a large glowing object hovering in the darkening Arizona sky. But when I made that fateful choice to leave the truck, I was leaving behind more than just my 6 fellow workmen. I was leaving behind forever all semblance of a normal life, running headlong toward an experience so overwhelmingly mind-rending in its effects, so devastating in its aftermath, that my life could never be the same. Travis Walton. I know what I saw, and it wasn't anything from this earth, John. I saw a bluish light from the machine, and Travis went flying, like he touched a live wire, Kenneth. The UFO was smooth and giving off a yellowish-orange light, Dwayne. I've been working these woods for over 30 years, and this is still the damnedest thing that has ever happened to me, Mike. We couldn't believe that was happening. The horror was unreal, Alan. The ray was the brightest thing I've ever seen in my whole life, Steve. So what do you guys think? Do you think it actually happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's most of these things. I mean, you got 6 other eyewitnesses like all corroborating your story, and they're
Yeah.
not. Nobody's like, if it was fake or if it was a hoax. Nobody's like, let it slip or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
They all believe it. They all saw what they saw. Travis saw what he saw. Like, I think it's legit. Like,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get anything out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean,
they get that $5,000.
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
well, I mean, I wouldn't say that's it, because he did, he wrote
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
novel,
true. And the
so he got
and
book sales,
Right.
and then the movie,
rights,
yeah. And not only that, he's been the most famous abductee ever. So
Yeah.
my only argument against this, and this is different from Bob Lazar, because Bob Lazar, his claims, he says he never wants to make a cent off of any of this,
Yeah.
anything that he saw at Area 51 when he worked there,
Mhm.
which, you can argue that fact or not. It seems like Travis has kind of got it made for him, and he's
Yeah.
he's still kicking it.
Yeah.
And so he did get some fame from it,
Yeah.
whether he, initially meant for that to happen or
Mhm.
not. But also, this is one thing that kind of is the most curious thing to me, is that who was the old couple that were abducted in the 60s?
That's the thing I was going to bring up too. Betty and Barney Hill.
Betty and Barney Hill.
They're like the first widely publicized UFO or alien abduction story, and like an interesting thing to know about them is like they were a biracial couple.
Mhm.
So like they, not only being that in the 60s, they put a target on your back if you like say, oh yeah, we were abducted by aliens. Like you're opening yourself up to like
Yeah.
people like arguing against you. So like, what do you
Yeah.
have to gain from it? So like, just by that fact that they're like, this happened, like they're putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about them is that their TV, I guess, interview or show or whatever came out 2 weeks before Travis Walton's incident.
Oh, okay.
So there were reports that him and his family were big on UFOs. There's no way to know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
And on Joe Rogan, Joe asked him if he had watched that movie or that show or whatever it was, and he said, I might have, I don't remember. So it's very possible that within that 2 week time, he had watched that, and this traumatic experience, he created this experience in his head.
Yeah.
So
But then like 6 people though, like corroborate
and
that story.
And that is the evidence that you cannot ignore, is that 6
Unless
people
He
saw it
saw
happen
that. He saw that TV program and like convinced 6 of his buddies.
to create this elaborate hoax.
Yeah.
This
but
45-year
like,
hoax.
What you just read, like he had just met like 2 of those guys like 2 days prior to this
Yeah.
incident.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got to fight with one of the other guys too. So
Yeah.
like, why would he have his back?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Especially when that guy could like 100% blackmail Travis
Yeah.
Yeah.
for book rights money.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like humans are scummy,
Yeah.
and like at any point in this like past 45 years, one of them could have been like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, hey, I need a little piece of the pie, or I'm gonna talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So personally, I believe it. I think it actually happened the way that he said it did. The only thing for me that's strange is like the descriptions of the aliens, like the orange jumpsuits.
Yeah.
And like another story that I listened to, he said that there were some like human type creatures in there that he was like praise God, like a human's in here, are you here to help me? And their initial response was like they sort of dead in the eyes. It seemed like they were just like kind of robots.
Yeah,
or like brainwashed or something like that.
The other thing about that incident or that detail is like he had said like they look like the peak versions of men and women, like human men and women.
Oh,
so,
really?
They looked like perfect, like unblemished or whatever. And like
The chicks had huge boobs and the guys had huge wieners.
I don't know about that, but I think he described like the men like looking like muscular and like big or whatever. Like they were like peak physical condition or whatever.
It must have been a nightmare for him.
So
It's traumatic. These guys are so hot.
God, this is about to could potentially get real. Okay, cool, bro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so with aliens like that, those are actually like, if you want to believe like fully in aliens, I forget what those kinds are called, but they look like humanoid. Oh, they're called like the tall whites essentially,
Okay.
and they are humanoid looking,
Mhm.
and they story goes, I guess, like are in cahoots essentially with the Greys, who are sort of like an alien, or not an alien, but like sort of machine-like essentially. They're just like the way that they work. They're kind of like drone-ish,
Yeah.
and they work with other aliens essentially. And so with Travis, he thought when he saw an alien, what he was actually seeing was one of like the tall whites essentially.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And you can really go cuckoo bananas with it, where like that's where Hitler got the master race from, because a lot of like Nazi imagery and a lot of things that he believed was like, I mean, he believed in some
Yeah, the
crazy
Aryan race is like the perfect whatever.
and the Aryans are based off of like the tall whites and stuff, like this perfect race and all that. So it's like it gets real. And then when you think about like, you know, World War II German like Nazi
Nazi scientists building rocket ships and stuff like that,
and having like alien tech and stuff
Yeah.
like that, dude. It's all you can really jump in, and I've dipped a little more than a toe in, but like
this was I really just wanted to keep it to abductions on this episode
Yeah.
because
aliens is
the
the
information that we
raw.
have on UFOs is so vast. And
Yeah.
the theories that we
Yeah.
have on that is just crazy. So that'll be a whole other
This
episode.
is like
that I
part
can't wait.
one. Part
Really?
one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just just wanted to spook some people with
Yeah.
like getting abducted because it's freaking scary.
Yeah.
But UFOs 100% they're real. You know.
Yeah.
I believe that there are just actual. It's high tech military equipment, absolutely, that we
Yeah.
don't know about. But also, I think that there is obviously stuff that might be extraterrestrial as well in origin. It
definitely
might
believe-
be, what do they call it? Reverse engineered.
Yeah, that's what I was
you
gonna say. I would
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
believe all the stuff we have is like reverse engineered
Yeah.
from alien tech.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like
pretty
there's no
sure.
way, because like in like 50 years, like we've gotten to this point where we have like AI and stuff like that. There's no way we like just naturally developed all
Yeah.
that within that short time span.
That's a good point.
I'm pretty sure we didn't really like have refrigerators in homes until after Roswell.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like, it
just
was the
like
50s.
Like
Yeah.
that's how like
That's
like
crazy.
yeah, dude. Like that's where our technology was before, and then like
Honestly, like the peak of it was the atomic bomb, and that was like the 40s. Like,
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
bananas, dude.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to get serious with you guys really quick and tell you guys a really scary thing that happened to me. So I'd say it's probably 2017 was when I first kind of dipped my toes into UFOs and was like, oh, this is legit. This stuff might be real. And it's kind of a shame to say that like the thing that got me into it was Tom DeLonge's like him coming out as a UFO expert, and he wrote this book called it's called like Into the Shadows or something like that, something Shadows. And I read that book and it was really enlightening. It's fiction based on real theories of UFOs. And his claims of that book
Chasing Shadows.
Chasing Shadows. Thank you. His claims of that book said that he has done so much research in UFOs that he didn't want to just say like this is what the government's doing, this is what's going on with UFOs. So he's like, the easiest way to get it into the public is to write it as fiction, so I can publish it and then it'll be out there so people can decide if it's real or not. But this is the only way to actually get it out there.
Band Angels and Airways, was that what that was about too?
It was inspired by UFOs for
Yeah.
sure. So he published that book, I think, in 2016 and 2017. And I read it, and I was like, huh, that was interesting. It was a very long, boring book. I would never read it again, but it was enlightening. And then later that year, Sarah and I went to New Mexico. We went to Roswell because I was just so, like, all about UFOs.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun trip, for sure. And being out there in the desert is... I was just looking at the sky. So, like, it's obvious that this would be the place where like you could see all the UFOs because the sky is so clear.
So
There's hardly any
vast and-
clouds
yeah.
ever. The most disappointing thing about Roswell is that the crash happened 45 miles away from Roswell. Roswell was just the nearest like big town to publish it in their newspaper.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, the crash of Roswell. But it happened
The
45
nearest
miles
place
that way.
with the post office.
Exactly.
It happened in Corona, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, like, that's freaking, Tecumseh from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we grew up from Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not close at all.
Mhm.
Which is just crazy. But driving through New Mexico, specifically from, where were we? Lubbock, Texas, we drove to Roswell and then to Albuquerque that day. We went hours without seeing gas stations, buildings, just driving on highways in the middle of the desert. And I'm like, oh, this makes sense why they call it Roswell, because there's nothing out here.
Yeah.
If I broke down, we'd be screwed.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So
I've made that drive,
yeah,
and you're just like, where is anything?
you have to
Yeah.
really plan on when you get gas and stuff like that.
Jeez.
So that was when I was like peak into UFOs, and then any UFO content I could get, I was absorbing it all. And I'm still very into it, but less now than I was then. Fast forward a little bit. Sarah and I are watching this movie. I think this was last year. It's called Dark Skies, I'm pretty sure. It has Cary Russell in it. Yeah, it's called Dark Skies with Cary Russell. It's a movie that came out in 2013. It is a psychological horror. Truly one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I'll read you the plot synopsis right now. As the Barrett family's peaceful suburban life is rocked by an escalating series of disturbing events, they come to learn that a terrifying and deadly force is after them, one which may have arrived from beyond the stars.
Cool.
So we watched that movie. Highly recommend it. It is horrifying.
I might have
It
seen
involves kids. It's so spooky. But alien abduction is the theme of that movie. And we watched it, and it's PG-13, so it's not like there's nothing gory about it.
Yeah.
Barely, no boobs, hardly any cuss words, anything like that. It's just a very scary movie. And they play with shadow people and the darkness, and they even use some like Native American lore from like the Zuni culture, which is really cool, and involve that into like star people and UFOs and stuff like that. But I watched that movie, and it scared the crap out of me. So I've absorbed a lot of UFO and alien media over the past couple of years, and I'm real friendly with sleep paralysis for sure, and I'm aware of the mental state that your brain can go under when you have sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And the kind of delusion that you're in. It's anything could happen, but this particular incident, and this probably happened months after that, and it was more than likely just that I was consuming so much horror and alien UFO type media or entertainment, whatever, that it was probably just my brain playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
But I had a really bad sleep paralysis fit. And I was dreaming that I was on a mountain that's very similar to Mount Scott, and like we were like driving up at night, and I was with some friends, and I don't know if we were even driving. I think we might have just been walking the road. I think we were walking. I don't remember who was in the dream, but it was like a fun dream, and we're like on this mountain at night, and it was really cool. We could like see the stars, and we could see like the city lights in the distance, and like the hills and the mountains and stuff like that. It was really pretty. And I remember just seeing this light just coming up from the trees below, and I was like, oh no, I know too much, was the first thing I thought. I said, I know too much. And I freaked out, and I started running. And next thing I know, that I wake up in my bed, and I'm just frozen there. And I can't move. And I was like, oh God, no, this can't be happening. And I look, and Sarah's to my left. But here's the weird part of the dream, was that it wasn't even my current bedroom. So I was having sleep paralysis. I was in a dream, but I wasn't even in the bedroom that we lived in at the time. I woke up in our old rent house bedroom that we moved out of a couple months before that. And so, like, obviously that means I was
Still in a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very strange that I was having, like, I was awake with sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Hallucinating that I was in my old bedroom. And I was laying there, and like our blinds were closed, and I just see like the UFO like light just like light up my whole house, and I couldn't move, and I was just frozen in bed. I was like, oh God, they're here. And I hear the front door open, and I'm like, oh no, they're coming for me. And I was frozen. I could like barely move my head, and I leaned over, and from our bed I could see like down the hall. And what's weird is I heard the front door open, but out of like our hallway closet, like where we keep our blankets, I see just this gray humanoid creature like climb out of the blanket closet, and then start like creepy like moving towards me, and then it jumps on top of me and like starts choking me, which is so very strange. And then
that's like super sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah,
there too.
yeah, it's horrible. And then I don't remember what happens after that.
Well, you woke up, so that's good.
Well, I didn't wake up immediately.
No,
but I mean, I did
yeah.
wake up eventually.
Yeah.
But that is eerily similar to abduction stories that you could read online. Is that most abductions, people never actually leave their beds.
Yeah.
Like they feel themselves, like coming out of their body and going through like their roof and their ceiling, and then their spouses never even know that they left.
Yeah.
Same thing, like you're out camping and stuff like that. Like I've heard stories that people like I saw myself transcend through like the tarp of my tent and just float into their spacecraft. I don't remember ever like being beamed up or anything like that. It was just a very weird sleep paralysis dream. I don't think that I was abducted, but it was very weird because
it was
very convincing because that's, if I would ever say like I was abducted, that's what it would feel like. And most people don't remember what happens after they get beamed up. They just remember they don't even remember like how they got home or when they woke up, or sometimes they don't remember the dream. But for me, it just like I just remember like getting choked by this gray alien. It was more white than anything, and then like just going out. So I don't know. It was very strange. It was just very weird. I'm not gonna say I was actually abducted or anything like that, but it was the most strange thing that ever happened to me.
I know that this like could potentially be a traumatic thing for you, but I will say the idea of like their tech not working properly to where you're not knocked out. So one of them is like, hey Jerry, it's not really.
Choke him out.
We need you. Yeah, we need you to go. Just give him a little choke. Make sure you come out of the blanket closet though, so it's extra weird,
extra creepy.
Yeah. And how I know for sure that I was abducted is my butt hurt the next day. So
that'll do it.
Yeah.
And
And the choke marks on my neck too. Just kidding, guys. But very weird dream. Sleep paralysis is weird. It could be a spiritual thing. I don't know.
I mean, I will say it's interesting that you bring up sleep paralysis because that is a thing amongst a lot of abduction stories. I was I wouldn't say I read, but I was skimming through a New York Times article that was written in '99 talking about the phenomena of sleep paralysis and abductions. And essentially it was just saying like sleep paralysis has been a thing like forever.
Yeah.
But like I guess in '99 it was like just being like more widespread or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in different cultures they have different names for it. In Japan it's a phenomenon that's been well documented for centuries and like it has a name. And like in various other cultures, like I can't remember. I think like some Scandinavian culture, but like sleep paralysis is like, oh yeah, it's like just this sensation of like something sitting on you, a spirit sitting on you, or like it's like there's like these, you know, different cultural things that explain the same thing, which is sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a thing until like, you know, the last 40 years. Like
Yeah.
nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's spooky.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, not to discredit your story, but like,
No. I don't even
yeah,
think that I was abducted.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's so eerily similar to abduction
but
stories.
it's so
You know?
I mean, that's just like all sleep paralysis stories. Like it's
Yeah.
all eerily similar. Like this sensation that
Yeah.
everybody just experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and like in some way or other, it can be explained, and then it can't be. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Warren, have you ever had it?
I have had it. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had anything serious like that. But it's like I've had the sensation where like, you know, I'm frozen, can't move, and like I'm screaming, and I'm like nothing's coming out, but like I vividly remember like screaming, like trying to scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it sounds so scary. I've never had it.
Yeah. Not yeah.
I have weird reoccurring nightmares
Mm.
that like it's like the same weird attic
Yeah.
and ghost that goes up that lives there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Attics.
I had the same nightmare like 4 times, and then the last time was kind of cool.
Was there like a resolution to it, or
Yeah.
really?
I-
Shut up.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
crazy. 'Cause, yeah, we were just like hanging out.
Yeah.
It was like me and a bunch of people in this house, and it always starts as like, you know, one thing, and then it very much goes to I see the staircase in the house, and it always leads up to the same attic. But this time, it was so funny because like I had been having a really hard time sleeping, and I had really weird dreams like all week.
Yeah.
And then like Thursday I had this dream, and then I was just like, I'm so done.
Yeah.
I'm over this. So I was like, it was weird. It was very I was very gung ho about it. I just like turned around to people and I was just like, I need to go upstairs. And they're like, ooh, don't do that. And I was like, no, I'm like done doing this now.
I mean, at that point, it just sounds like you lucid dreamed a little bit and like took control of the dream.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I just like went upstairs and I was just like, we're done.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're done. And I think I killed a ghost, and then I woke up, and then
Wow.
and then I slept better the rest of the week. It was weird.
That's
It
dope.
was like
Wow.
super, super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Look
ever,
at you go.
Dreams are crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember
Dreams
ever
are
remember any of my
bonkers.
dreams.
Yeah.
Like
Those-
sometimes I feel like I don't dream. Like
Mhm.
I'll just sleep and like nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a big dreamer.
I feel like I don't remember a lot of mine except for the spooky ones.
Mhm.
You know.
Those memorable ones, you're like, ooh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna remember that one for
Yeah.
sure.
I haven't had a nightmare. I'm like, oh, that's not true. Last time with the dolls, I definitely had a nightmare.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
spooky, dude.
The last big spooky one I had was after my grandma died. It was like really scary. It was like probably the most like traumatic dream I ever had, because I was like
Jeez.
I was like back at my grandparents' house. And me and my grandpa was sitting at the desk with his computer like he always does, and we were talking. And then my grandma, who had just died maybe like 3 weeks prior, like walks out of the hallway like in her nightgown, and my grandpa looked at me and I was like, hey, she's dead.
Ooh.
Like
Sheepers, creepers.
and
Yeah.
he was like, what do you mean? She's right there. I was like, no, Papa, like she passed away a few weeks ago. And she walked into the bathroom, which was like in the living room essentially. And I turned around and I was like, who are you? and the door closed, and then like I heard her screaming, and the door started to shake, and then it bust open, and that's when I woke up.
Oh my gosh.
And dude, I was just like, I never woken up just so
just like
scared.
Yeah.
And I told Camilla about it, and she was like, well, when was the last time you talked to your grandpa? And she died more than 3 weeks prior, but I was like, man, I guess it's been like a month.
Yeah.
And she was like, maybe you should call him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so scary.
Jeez.
That was like probably the worst nightmare I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, alien abductions, guys. What do you think? There are tons of stories out there.
Yeah.
There's one that was covered by Unsolved Mysteries, the new series on Netflix, and it's about this whole town who experienced alien abduction stories. And I wanted to go over that one. It is a banana story.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be another episode that we do. It's insane, and everyone has the same story.
It's not in Alaska, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Have you seen The Fourth Kind? Or
yeah.
Yeah.
That movie
That
is
movie rocks.
insane.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to watch that one again. But we'll go over that one another time. There are plenty of abduction stories, and I'd like to dive more into like the psychology of them too. Just so we have some scientific evidence or theories rather on why this stuff happens. But who knows? It might be real. It might not be.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this episode of Suspend Disbelief, guys.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you like the show, please rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, or your podcast app of choice. You can find us on Instagram at the Skull Crawlers, and on Twitter, which we seldom use. We're going to fix that at _ Skull Crawlers. And you can find our YouTube by searching the Skull Crawlers Movie Club or going to bit.ly/skullcrawlers. And as always, sleep with one eye open because you never know who's watching.
And thanks for wearing your brown pants, guys.
Good night.
Good night.